Welcome to the Bleeding Edge Report with Chris and Treg, where tech meets its match.
Well, hi, everyone. Today is Wednesday, February 15th. I am Treg, and we have Chris with us. How you doing, Chris?
Hey, I'm good, Treg. Thanks for inviting me back to the Bleeding Edge Report.
Yes, and welcome everyone back to the Bleeding Edge Report. We haven't changed our banner because it looks so nice. But anyway, so today, what do we got, Chris? It's your turn.
Well, yeah, it is my turn. And I decided to take a look at a particular telecom company in our fair nation.
Okay.
And I'm calling this Groundhog Day. So I hope you enjoy it.
Okay.
I'm just going to kick off with jumping right to a slide that I made and see if you can spot a pattern here, Treg. Okay. Bringing that up. Do you see any pattern here with a data breach timeline I put together for
so this T-Mobile. T-Mobile data breach timeline, January 23, April 22, August 21, February 20, March 20, November 18, September 13, 15, network hack for 2 years. So there seems to be a pattern.
Yeah, we're celebrating a 10-year anniversary of being #1 in network attacks.
Do they get one of those plaques at the entry when you get in?
I don't know if JD Power himself stops by to hand that off or what. But,
crystal. It's called the broken crystal.
That's right. It's dropped in the parking lot before they bring it in. So, yeah, I mean, this is real. So Actually what happened was I was looking at this. I was looking at this because I dug into T-Mobile after I found out on Monday they had a data outage. The network went out, right? And I was just like, it's T-Mobile again. I can't believe this. Like they have problems all the time. And I just started, doing my thing, looking stuff up, reminding myself of just what this track record is. And I just thought this was unbelievable. This is completely egregious. 10 years of data breaches is nobody can touch that track record.
So why do you think this isn't front page shit?
Well, probably because people have been conditioned that, well, it's T-Mobile. Okay. When I sign up with T-Mobile, I may be saving money, but I've agreed that my data can be breached. And every now and then we get a network outage, which messes me up.
It's in the terms of agreement. If you read real close.
It may be. I don't know.
I bet you it is. Yeah.
I don't have a contract with them at this time, but
okay.
But on a serious note, this is incredibly bad. Like most countries around the world would not have a company still in business with this type of track record for data breaches. Right? In the United States, Verizon, AT&T, yeah, they've had data breaches. No question about it. Everybody has. But really, this is unmatched, right? This is happening. It's a systemic problem. You can see that with the pattern. I'll just show it one more time so you can take a look. This is a systemic problem.
Yeah.
Over 10 years, it's happening again and again. And the research that I dug into, because I was extremely distraught, so I dug further, and it's basically that September 13 to September 2015 hack, which was open for two years until it was stopped. That basically started this wheel turning in two ways. One is it seems that the word got out that T-Mobile is an easy target, and so they basically were suffering network hack after network hack. I guess some folks didn't want to buy their data. They just thought I'd come by and pick it up for free on their own, these nefarious actors. But then more importantly, I saw that there were some knock-on effects in these SIM swaps. You saw the SIM swaps. I'll just show it one more time. The SIM swaps on February 2021, August 2021, April 2022. Those are SIM swaps, which basically means that someone has taken over your phone account. In essence, what they can do is the phone isn't just your phone number. There is a couple of other strings of identifying numbers that
Mhm.
help your phone connect to the
Mhm.
proper databases and network settings in order for it to perform. So if you know those codes, you can redirect that service to another handset. Okay. So unbeknownst to the user, that's what's been happening, and that's what a SIM swap is.
How many, what's the total number? Like in April of 22, how many SIM swaps were there? Or do they even know?
Yeah, that was undetermined number, right?
Undetermined.
Yeah.
In
Because
other words, unpublished. We're not publishing that number.
there seems to be a theme with the discussion, which is T-Mobile will not provide the explanation until the investigation is completely is thorough and completed. That
In 2029.
There seems to be a theme there.
Yeah.
So this is regular speak from their marketing team. But long story short, in my mind, this is a huge issue because in addition to network outages, data breaches is in some ways worse to the majority of users in that it can be, their personal data can cause economic hardship on folks. It could be ruin relationships, ruin businesses. So there's no way to put a number on the amount of damage that can be done with these type of data breaches. And I just think that T-Mobile themselves are to blame for this. And what I mean by that is it's not a technology issue. It's actually a culture issue. Because if you compare it to their industry benchmark peers, be it Verizon, AT&T, they're not you don't see the same timeline. You don't see the number of events the same way. They have had breaches, that's true, but it's not the same pattern. It's not systemic. It's more of a random situation where maybe they're, the arms race in cybersecurity, maybe they got caught on something, right?
Yeah.
So my message is to T-Mobile business users. So if you're running a small business and let's say you're using T-Mobile for your for the network, is maybe you should think twice about that, depending on where you're at, right? You might be able to sign with another company that maybe has fewer network outages and fewer data breaches. And the data breach side of it, if you're in the data and information business, which a lot of businesses are, even your mom and pop law firm downtown, small town America, it's information, it's data, right? So you got to keep that secure. And if you're signing up with a company that is known to do this habitually, then you're just asking for trouble.
So kind of in wrapping up and stuff like that, my key takeaway here is, yeah, there is a difference between carriers and how much they care about data breaches. T-Mobile might not be the best choice on the business side, right? In fact, T-Mobile, they're more of a consumer-driven business model instead of business model, and maybe that's one of the reasons why they don't put as much effort on data breaches, because maybe it doesn't cost their customers. If your customers are spread out enough, right, and you don't say have a big customer like Boeing or something like that, which is right down the road from their headquarters, and there's a data breach of Boeing and it's because of T-Mobile, then that's going to get a lot of PR. It's going to get a lot of press, in the Seattle area, and everyone's going to look at it. It's going to be bad. So you stay with the consumers. It's like the old adage, you can have a really big problem as long as it's with 1,000 people and they don't know they don't know the other people have that problem. They think it's just themselves. So I think that's what I walk away with this from.
Well, okay. I'm just going to add one more comment though.
Sure.
I don't think T-Mobile is exclusively to blame. I blame the FCC because if you have a systemic problem like this at your company and you're being fined on it every time, which they are, then that turns into a cost of doing business, right? Yet at the same time, T-Mobile stock has grown 86% over the same period. So to me, it's a clear case of management by the numbers. So they're happy in some ways, they might argue there's not a problem because they're making money, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So in that type of warped environment, you might want to have some regulation step in here, and rather than being a fireman, maybe look out over the next horizon and say, hey, look, you know what, we're going to make some criteria next time we have a license auction for FCC licenses.
Right.
And maybe, I don't know, if you've had a rocky track record with your current FCC licenses, we're not going to invite you to the next auction. Now, I believe that would affect some change in a positive way.
I agree. I only see one hitch with that thinking. I think that's where it's going to end up having to happen. But right now, you have the entire FCC panel that they're up there, and each one of them, have a resume polished up, because they want to bounce from the FCC to in the private sector, and they want to bounce from there to maybe to a carrier or something like that. So they don't want to get known as the person that made it very difficult for T-Mobile or stuff like that. So I think you have to get rid of, and I think there's bills actually that are looking to be passed in terms of the ability to move from like a committee or something like that to a private company. I think as soon as we get that done, and people in the FCC, can go at companies with their gloves off and not worry, or you get people in there that are more concerned to make sure things are working right instead of just a career, that this is a step in a career. I think that's where the change comes. But I think you're right. It's got to come from big slaps on the hand.
It's a good point. But so that's my report, Treg. I hope you enjoyed it. It probably wasn't what you were expecting, but neither was the network outage on Monday. So what can I say?
Big problem. Part of the bleeding edge. This has been going on since 1993, since mobile phones have been out, right?
Yeah.
Everything gets hacked. Anyway, okay. Hey, thanks, Chris.
See you next time.
Have a good week, man.
Yep.
Okay. Bye-bye.